Hey YouTube! Welcome back to my channel! I think honestly the last time that I posted was maybe like in February with the whole TikTok refugee thing. And that was a great idea and I wanted to come back. I actually love watching YouTube channels. I love the long form content. I love the horizontal format. It's just, life gets busy. And I feel like TikTok content, it's like record whatever, wham bam, thank you ma'am, post, and you're done. Whereas YouTube, I don't know, there's just like more of a permanence to this, and I need to make sure that things are okay, things are good, things are great. And sometimes I'm just too tired to commit to the recording, to the editing, to the posting, to the all that jazz. Because we all know I can't just record and post. I could. Backtracking a bit, my name is Dragon Crystal. This is my booktube channel. These are my books. And the reason why I'm pointing out my books is because I've decided to break out of my spell. I'm just going to come up with a series. I'm going to go through my wrapped TBR. For those who don't know, there's wrapped books behind me. You can quite clearly see that there's wrapped books behind me. The wrapped books are my physical TBR. I set a rule for myself, kind of to like stop myself from buying books, but at the same time to motivate myself to keep on reading and not make it a hyperfixation, that I can only look at the books that I am reading or I have read. Therefore, if I haven't done either of those, they are wrapped. I cannot feast upon their beauty. I cannot gaze upon their presence. I'm sure I used both of those phrases inaccurately, but we know what I'm talking about. So here's what I decided we're gonna do. I am going to be picking 10 books off of my wrapped TBR, and I'm going to explain to you why I got it. I think in the process that this is going to help me realize whether or not I'm going to unhaul some books, because I think I'm going to be opening up a Pango Books online thing eventually and just unhaul a bunch of stuff there. And there's also some books that I kind of want to throw into little free libraries. So I'll be able to visibly see my books, justify my purchase, and see if they're going to stay. Now, how many books do I have? Well, according to my Excel sheet, I have just under 600 physical books. I will preface by saying I live in an area where there are tons of thrift stores and used bookstores, and it's just easy ways to get really cheap books. I also have myself utilized Pango and eBay, and it's very easy to get books that are $2 to $3 each, get a hoard of them, or even library sales. There's one library nearby that gives me a brown paper bag, says it's $10, and I can shove as many books as I can carry in that bag and walk out. And I think the last time I walked out with 24 hardcover books from that sale. So needless to say, it's really easy for me to get up to just under 600 books on my physical TBR. Am I going to get to all of them? I'm working on it, but probably not. Let's just jump right into what I have. Every book is numbered and I have an Excel sheet telling me what each book is. I downloaded an app on my iPad. I'm probably also going to have to log into my Excel document because I just realized that both my phone and my laptop, which is working as a monitor, are in use. Therefore, I need to actually look at this Excel sheet. Crystal, why aren't you prepared in your first video? 'Cause shut up. That's why. Please log me in. Yay! See, that wasn't so hard. That was, whoa. See, I have like a whole chart with information. I don't know if you guys can even see that, honestly. Reading chart and reading list and library. This Excel sheet is fantastic. I did not make this Excel sheet. I do not own this Excel sheet. I bought it. But it is so awesome that if you go to my link tree and you click on book tracker, you'll see the one that I'm using. It's an Excel sheet, so everything is manual entry. But as a person who loves data and statistics and graphs, I love it. So right now I have... Wait, why isn't that showing me all my books? I have way more books than that. Why aren't you showing me all my books? Why are you only showing me that many books? Where's the rest of them? I have way more books than that. Why is this only showing me up to 200? Okay, fine. I love technology. Now we ran into a technical problem. Apparently the iPad can only show me 200 rows at one time. So I'm going to have to rely on going to my computer to see my books. So what we're going to do is I'm going to randomly pick 10 numbers. And then I'll tell you what those numbers are. First number up we have 480. Then we have 491. 46. 35. 559. That gives us our first 5 books. 235. 582. 581. 269. And 29. Okay, I'm gonna go see what books these are. We'll be right back. Alright, first book up is Breath of the Dragon. I'm Dragon Crystal, and I love all dragon books, and when I saw this book on the shelf and it had sprayed edges, it kind of teetered my decision. I wasn't going to get the book originally because I was like, you know what, I'll just wait. But then at that time, I was in a hype of get the sprayed edges because the next print isn't going to have the sprayed edges because that's what was normal in my head. So I'm not sure what it's about, but if it's about dragons, I automatically want to add it to my shelf. I have not read it yet. I'm still curious about it. I don't see any reason why I would unhaul it, so it's staying on my shelf. Second book is The Princess Bride. It's The Princess Bride!
Duh.
And yes, I'm a big Mel Brooks fan, and my favorite movie of all time is Robin Hood Men in Tights. Discovering at some point last year that there was a book, and yes, I did not know there was a book. I mean, I was still kind of like re-entering this world of book and literature-ish stuff. So I have this book. My local book club is actually going to be reading this at some point this year. So yeah, I'm keeping it. Yes, I will read it. I'll probably check out the audiobook and see if I like that method better, but it will be unwrapped this year. The next book is We Are the Fire. Now this book I think was like a $2 add to a Pango Books order that would have just killed the shipping cost. So I threw it in there. It still sounded very interesting. I love the way the cover looks. I think I'll either check this out as an audiobook or I'll pitch it to my local book club as a potential read. Seriously? If the lighting changes because I had a glare in my face. If I like it, it'll stay on my shelf, and if not, I can see myself putting this book out in one of the little free libraries. Next book is Diana in Pursuit of Love. I became so obsessed with the history of the royal family. Not the gossip and the drama of the current royal family, but literally where they came to be, where they came from, and of course the story of Princess Diana has always piqued my attention. I got this book for $1 at a Goodwill, and I'm keeping it. I just haven't read it yet. I'm kind of also going through like a TBR jar situation, so I'll get to it eventually. Haven't gotten to it. I'm keeping this book. Next book, okay. The next book needs a little bit of clarification. The next book is Wishbone and the Stolen Trophy. Okay, I collect Wishbone books. I became obsessed with Wishbone as a kid. The PBS dog Wishbone was this talking dog. Nobody could hear him except the viewer, and he would go over how circumstances in his real life were similar to books that he had read, and then you would go with him to this, like, in his thought process of him being the storybook character and going through. It was a fantastic show. And I used to have a lot of the books before I had to move as a kid and got rid of them. So now as an adult, with adult money and finding adult resources and checking out other thrift stores and eBay and all these other websites, I have gathered, I believe, slightly over 60 Wishbone books.
Whoa!
Like, he is such a huge deal. This is where I cut away and I show you a video of all of the Wishbone books and Wishbone. And just for its and giggles, I'm going to throw in a photo of me and the voice actor Larry, who voiced Wishbone. So Wishbone is my absolute obsession, and I will be sprinkling in some Wishbone books into my TBR. I've only read a few of them, but I only marked them as read if I remembered the story, because again, we're talking about a little over 20 years since I read Wishbone, so these will be sprinkled in. I will be reading them, and they're all staying. I love Wishbone. The next book needs a lot of forgiveness, and you will listen to my explanation. Do I love fantasy? Yes. Do I love escaping into fantasy worlds? Yes. Do I appreciate epic fantasy? Yes. Have I read The Lord of the Rings? No. Okay. In middle school, they had us read. I did watch the movies, and remember I liked them, and I only saw them once. And I have zero reason as to why I never watched them again. I didn't hate it. At the time that I saw it, I know that I wasn't necessarily in the same mindset that I am now in the world of fantasy. And I just watched it once and I liked it, thought it was cool, and that was it. In middle school, they tried having us read The Hobbit. And I remember getting so frustrated because they took 2 pages to describe a cylinder-like hallway. And I remember looking at the teacher and saying, this literally, they could have just said, I went through a tunnel. 2 pages gone. I am not defending, okay. I am defending my younger self and my younger mentality, and I'm not saying I won't read it because I obviously have the book. I have the book. I just haven't gotten around to reading it yet. It's not in my priority list, but it is in my one day I have to read this book to understand who and what it was that inspired all the fantasy authors that I read, enjoy, and love today. So Lord of the Rings will be read. And I'm sorry that I haven't read it yet. Now again, there's more than 60 Wishbone books, so it might pop up quite a few bit. The next book is a Wishbone classic, Ivanhoe? I need to look up how to pronounce that before I make these videos. Is what would sound appropriate. I have to double check if this was an episode I saw. A lot of the Wishbone Classics series are actually from the TV shows, but it's a Wishbone book. I'll read it. I'll keep it. The next book is Wishbone and the Adventures of Tom Sawyer. I did watch this episode. Absolutely loved it. I can still hear Tom and Huck talking in that episode. I will be reading this book. I absolutely love the episode and the world of Wishbone. That's all you need to know. The next book is The Map of Time. This is one of those books that I got at a library sale where they gave us a brown paper bag, said it's $10, and we fill it with as many books as we can. This is one of the books that I grabbed. Now, I didn't know at the time that it was part of a series. I did spend time over the next few months finding the other books. I wasn't in a rush, but I did find them at other library sales or other used bookstores. So I have the series. I do plan on reading it. It is also translated from Spanish, I believe. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to put a thought bubble above my head. But I think it's translated from Spanish, so it's not written in English. And I think that was the biggest thing that intrigued me about the entire series. So I will be reading this at some point. The last one is Where the Dark Stands Still. And I had no intention of buying this book in the US. Looked at the cover, nothing caught my attention. Heard the storyline, didn't really care about it. Until I went to London. And can I tell you, the UK version of this book is drop dead gorgeous. Quite literally, this is one of those books that I got only because the cover was amazing. And only because I saw it in the UK cover. If it had only been the American version, I wouldn't have this book. So what is it about? I don't know, but I'm excited to read it and display it. You can see there's a problem here. Now, based off of that list, you can see not everything I got is used. Where the Dark Stands Still, I did get that book brand new. Breath of the Dragon, I got that book brand new. So there's a few catches here and there. I'm trying to get better about only buying new books if they are special editions or limited editions, or if it happens to be part of a series that I am reading. How many books do we have left? I'm not going to give you a number because it might grow. But at the same time, it might drop because I will be working on a Pango book unhaul thing, even though nothing on this list is getting dropped. I promise you guys, I have a whole unhauling. I'll make an unhaul video. But thanks for popping in. Subscribe, follow. I'm a chaotic book talker by nature and hoping to dive more into book 2 because again, I love this format. I love this freedom. I love editing. I just need to find the time. But I do reading sprints. So you guys should follow me and subscribe because TikTok is follow. YouTube is subscribe. I should stop snapping. Bye.